G'day mates, in today's video we're kicking off talking about the big news that Epic potentially just leaked the next World Cup, or at the very least a major LAN event starting as early as March next year. Now this was actually in Fortnite, this is not just some obscure leak from Twitter. Also, this leak did potentially reveal that the next game mode is going to be solos for FNCS. I'll talk about why that is and what my thoughts are on what the next FNCS game mode should be. And I also want to talk about DreamHack Sweden that's going on right now, and how apparently there is a player who is qualified for the grand finals and they're not even at the LAN event. They are playing in the LAN event from home. There's a lot to talk about. Let's just jump into it. Why are so many people freaking out that World Cup just got leaked? I didn't clickbait you. A whole bunch of players had this image show up in their compete tab today. It is an event called the New York Majors taking place in March of next year, and it is a solo event. Now, why do people think this is World Cup? Why are they freaking out so much? Well, firstly, the name. It's called New York Majors. It's not called FNCS. It's not called Solo Cash Cup. It has a location. You never call an event a location unless it's a LAN event. Like, why would they have the New York Majors and it's an online event for EU? Like, very clearly, if something was going to have a name for a LAN event, that is going to be it. Secondly, it is taking place in March, and we've already confirmed that FNCS is confirmed to start in February. And if you check the date matches up with a Saturday, which is the same day as when we've had every single grand final, either a Saturday and Sunday if it's a 2-day event. Now, is this confirmation we have a LAN event and we have the next mini World Cup? No, but a lot of the parts of this do check out. I will have to say Hypex did actually respond to my tweet about this, saying it's been there as a placeholder. No idea why they put it as a placeholder though. So what he means by placeholder is in the game, in the files, they usually have to use some kind of an image just to add to something. So when they turn it on, they change it later on. It's why we've had other things leaked in the past though. Just because this has been a placeholder before though, does not mean this is not something major. Like, let's think about the thought process here. So let's say Epic has an event. Let's say this is a skin cup. There's a skin cup randomly running in March of next year. Why they'd have to put it in the compete tab so early, I don't know, but why would they call it New York Majors? Like, out of everything you could type in, you could call it the Bim Bam Skin Cup. Like, you can call it anything. Why would you call it the New York Majors? Also, we had a lot of people in the scene who I think if anyone knew something like this was going on, like Monster D-Face, would respond with something along the lines of, "That's a crazy leak," with an emoji. We also had Reno, the owner of Become Legends, respond with, "This might or might not confirm some of the rumors I've heard." Now, again, Become Legends, one of the biggest orgs in Fortnite right now. Right now are the LAN goats. Their players have won almost every single LAN of the last like 4 or 5 LANs. They are the LAN goats, and Reno always has his ear very close to what's going on. He's been making a whole bunch of videos talking about next season is going to be the greatest season for Fortnite. Things are going to pick up. There's a lot of exciting things on the horizon, teasing at things he knows that he's not allowed to share. And then he responds to this tweet saying this. So again, do I think this is 100% World Cup or a major LAN confirmed? No, but it's too much of a coincidence. There's too many things that match up. Also, I would like to bring your attention to the fact that at the most recent Invitational, Fortnite specifically said in a blog post that they were going to make an announcement about the future of Fortnite competitive. They didn't end up doing that. At the Invitational, we had Chapter 4 get announced, but that had nothing to do with competitive. Like, yeah, Chapter 4 affects competitive because it's a new chapter, but why would you say that we're going to specifically get a competitive announcement? And then at the end of the broadcast, Zeke said something along the lines of, "Oh, when FNCS is in February," didn't say the game mode, gave no details. There is no way that is the announcement they had planned, which a lot of us interpreted as Chapter 4 was the announcement. But I actually think potentially maybe they had something like this to announce, a LAN event in March, and for whatever reason couldn't announce it. Again, I might be grabbing at straws here, and I want to hear your guys' response down below in the comments. Do you think this is good evidence of a major event? Because we just had the international LAN event. It was a massive success in my opinion. The viewership was great. The turnout was great. Overall, it was just an awesome tournament that has reinvigorated and re-energized the entire Fortnite competitive community. It would make sense they're looking to use that to then move into other LAN events. I don't think we're going to go years between LAN events anymore. It would make sense we would have at least a few every year, and most esports have their major events as LAN events to then build up to an international event at the end of the year. Maybe each region, each major region at least, maybe NA, EU, they have some kind of a LAN event every single like quarter or every single third of the year, and then that works as some kind of bigger event to an invitational. Again, this is just how a lot of other esports works, and I think this image showing up in the compete tab with this exact date, time, it's just too much of a coincidence for me. This may also give us a major hint into what the next competitive game mode is. Solos. It very clearly says solos there. And if you had to ask me right now, what do I think next FNCS is going to be? I would say trios or solos for a couple of different reasons. Squads is just too chaotic on the servers. It is too stacked. And last time we ran squads was one of the biggest issues Epic has ever had with the servers. And that was after the servers were already running well. Currently, we've had the servers be so bad that Epic has had to change Storm Surge to make the lobbies less stacked. I don't think they're about to then go into squads where they have historically had an issue with servers already. Now, solos and trios. I think trios makes the most sense to be the next competitive game mode if they're focusing on the top level, if they're focusing on running more LAN events, they're focusing on making the pros happy and really building those team mode storylines. But solos is still good for that, but the advantage it has is it's better for the average player. If you're a casual competitor, if you're an up-and-coming competitor, a lot of people prefer solos because they don't have to get one or two teammates that they practice with every day, that are free to run scrims, that are free to run tournaments. They can run all days of the weekend. It's just if you are more of a casual competitor, which makes up the majority of the competitive player base and viewership, they prefer solos. And I'm not going to say everyone. I know there's a lot of people out there who don't like solos, and especially top tier pros. Some of them would definitely quit if we had an entire year of solos, but I think maybe a 1 season or 2 seasons of solos mixed in then with team game modes like trios, bring back duos for a little bit, would make a lot of sense. It would see player base flourish. If there are major events like LAN events, a lot of the top tier pros would still be happy, and it's just a good overall game mode for viewership as well. So it is leaning between solos and trios for me. I don't think they'll run duos again. It's been an entire year of duos, but I mean, if we're getting random images showing up in the compete tab for solo LAN events, it might seal the deal that we are getting solos. But also, I would like to include, they could still technically run trio FNCS and then have a solo LAN event. There could be other criteria for qualifying for the solo LAN event. They could run it like a World Cup where you can just qualify from home. There's like 1 or 2 weeks of qualifiers. They could make it that you play as a trio, but then the best, like let's say 10 trios qualify for the solos event. That technically would still work. You can't really do it in the reverse. You can't have a solo FNCS and then take the best 30 players and put them into trios for a trio event, but you could do it the other way. So there are options here, but if you're wondering about what the next FNCS game mode is, right now with this leak, I'm leaning towards solos. Let's move on to talking about DreamHack Sweden and how apparently there is a player now playing in the grand finals who isn't even actually at the LAN event. So if you guys don't know how DreamHack works, basically you buy a ticket and you either bring your PC or you rent a PC on site, and then you play at the LAN event in the qualifiers to qualify for the finals. But because this time around it's not in the compete tab, the only way they can verify that people are actually at the event is on the day you have to go up and register your account and link it to then get the War Legends code to then play the games. They are just playing customs, so they can't leak the code because it's been ran through War Legends and Unite. But what appears to have maybe happened is a player has had maybe their friend or someone else go up and register saying it's them, and then they're just playing the event from the comfort of their own home. We know this because Floki tweeted out adding the player saying, "Why you contest me in DreamHack finals? You are not in LAN." Now, I don't think Floki would be the kind of player to go out of his way to call out a player unless he had good evidence for this. Unfortunately, the player hasn't gotten back to me after DMing them, so I can't verify whether he is at the LAN event or not. And if he just said, "Oh yeah, Aussie, I'm there," how would I prove if he's not? That's one of the biggest issues here right now. This event is there's actually no real way to figure out whether he's there or not, unless he wins the event and everyone's looking around like, bro, who won? Like, where? Like, that's really the only way this is gonna get found out. Floki did at DreamHack FN to try to investigate it, so it seems like he is really confident that some kind of foul play has gone on here. I did want to talk about the event. It is running far better than DreamHack Atlanta. Yes, it is still being ran on custom servers. It is still being ran by War Legend, but for whatever reason, I guess because DreamHack is a European company, for some reason their European events just seem to run so much better. There really hasn't been any major issues outside of this one, which is a major issue if it is correct, but we've had all the major players qualify that people expected. Kami, Seti, Vino, Mr. Savage, we have Pink, Queasy. It's going to be an absolutely stacked finals. There was only 2 NA pros that went, CZR and Threats. Threats was able to qualify into the finals, so we'll see how he goes there, but you can check the website if you want. I'll put the link in the description down below. All you got to do is go to each heat and check top 25. If they're in the top 25, they are playing in the grand finals. The grand finals may have already happened by the time of you watching watching this video, for whatever reason, they chose to run the event on at 11 a.m. Swedish time. That is 2 in the morning my time when I'll be going live to watch this, and 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which might just be one of the worst times you could possibly run an event for viewership, unless you're like Australia or some parts of Asia. So it will be interesting to see how the event goes. I will probably make a follow-up video in the next few days talking about how well this goes. I doubt it will have enough to make an entire video on. You can swing by my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Aussie Antics. I will be covering all the action. I might even be watching the tournament now as of you watching this video. All right, guys, that does it for another video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please chuck a like on it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one.